My wife cheated on me and now wants an open relationship with him and to be with me. My wife and I have been married for 7 years. We've had our ups and downs like any other marriage, but it's been an exciting adventure. In 2010, we were both 23 years old. I graduated from college, had a terrific job, got married, and even bought a house. The next year, we had our first child, a girl. We were never happier since she brought so much joy and happiness into our lives. That is until last year when we had our second kid, a son. He'll be a year old in about a month. We were overjoyed. Back in mid-April, I began to notice my wife acting strangely, appearing to be using her phone a lot more than usual, being semi-secretive about it, and staying up considerably later than usual for a couple weeks. I don't give it much thought until I realize that she is typing a lot while on her phone. It started in April and is still going on. I've questioned her several times what she's up to. She dismisses me, says nothing, and becomes even more possessive of her phone. Fearing the worst, I go through our email address and find something about an account my wife has on ashleymadison.com among the deleted messages. I can't believe it's actually happening. I attempt to access her account. We've also discussed passwords, and she actually only uses 3 different ones. So I'll be logged in soon. I'm enraged. I notice a few dozen texts exchanged between her and other males. I noticed in her profile that she is searching for someone to compensate for her lack of enjoyment in the bedroom. As I go through the texts, I notice that she isn't actually talking to any of these folks. Maybe 1 or 2 texts back and forth, and that's all there is to it. I believe I'm far enough along in this that rather than addressing her about it, I should mention that I discovered her account 2 days before Mother's Day, and we had a lot of family events scheduled, so I didn't want to talk about the fact that after having our second child, our intimate life decreased. We had grown emotionally and physically apart in the previous year, from extreme tiredness to a lack of intimacy. We discussed it before, how we felt more like roommates than partners, but we didn't do anything about it. We had intimacy once every few weeks when things fell into place, but we didn't put any effort into it. So for the next few weeks, our intimacy was fantastic. We both seemed to be making a more concerted effort, and things were looking good. During this moment, however, she is still on the phone with someone. I can tell, but any attempt to get her to talk to me about it is met with denial and shrugging. On May 20th, I will be off from work. She is a stay-at-home mother. She stated a week or so ago that she was going to have lunch with a friend of hers, whom I know via her, but with whom I am not very close. My brain begins to piece some things together as the morning progresses, and she gets ready to go at around 12:30 a.m. She had only recently purchased a new bra. When I tried to initiate intimacy that morning, she didn't wonder for the first time in a long time. I saw she had cleaned herself up down there, which isn't unheard of for her, but unusual. I don't say anything when it's time for her to depart. I'm not sure if I was simply so scared of what may happen that I pretended everything was normal and let her go. I'm not sure. Around noon, while going over our monthly budget, I discovered that she still hadn't bought lunch, even though she should have done so by now. At this point, I realize something is wrong. I contact her to see how things are going and how she is doing, but get no response. I logged back into her account to see if anything had changed. It's one I've never seen before. I try to log in, and after a while, perhaps an hour, I get in and there are emails aplenty between her and a few males, mostly with one. When I click on the flashing chat icon in the corner, it reads Hotel such and such, room 201. Please notify me when you will arrive. I get frozen with a mixture of rage and grief. I take a step back and notice that they've been conversing every day for a month and a half, and have even had many hour-long phone talks after I've gone to bed. It's about 2 p.m. now, so I presume the worst and that everything I've feared has already occurred. I text her, I know it all, and wait for her to arrive home. I pack my belongings and call a buddy who will let me spend the night with him. She comes home and refuses, denies until ultimately admitting what I already suspected. She tells me that nothing occurred, that when she got there she couldn't go through with it, and that all they did was speak. I'm in such a wrath that I don't trust a word she says. I tell her I'm going to leave for a while since I can't take being around her. Eventually she convinces me to stay. I grudgingly agree, and I'm not leaving that night, which takes us to the present. We've discussed a lot over the last week and a half in a quite calm and mature adult fashion. She confessed that she joined the website because of our lack of closeness. She was seeing what was out there, but she wasn't sure if she could or would act on it. Then she met him, and they struck up a bond she had not anticipated. He is also a married man, 7 years older than us, and she has always had a penchant for older men. She continued to communicate with her prior boyfriend, an older man, for a very long time before I discovered it. But we worked through it. He was unhappy in his personal relationship with practically no intimacy, but his love for his wife, family, and 2 children propelled him to accomplish what he was doing. Neither of them expected it to be discovered, but now they are in a position where they really like each other. Love on the edge. My wife's main point over the last week or two has been that she needs both of us in her life and can't see it any other way. She has stated that her ideas on marriage have altered in recent months, and she sees no harm in liking more than one person at a time. I don't resent her for feeling this way, and while I see how it may have happened, I don't feel the same way she does. I'm not religious, but I believe that the sacredness of marriage is a precious thing. We don't want a divorce, and we still love each other a lot, but she is set in her ways and wants what she wants in me. Over the last week, I've been discussing compromise options, such as setting some ground rules for these circumstances. I tried to accept them chatting this week, but it's like rubbing salt in a sore. How can I accept and even encourage her to be with another man with whom she cheated? Part of me feels that being comfortable with it would negate the fact that she cheated and is effectively getting away with it. We've both been frustrated after a week of discussing. We're going around in circles and getting nowhere. One thing that bothers me is that I don't have somebody to talk to about it. She certainly has him and has been open with me, telling me that they have discussed everything that me and her have discussed. Because all of my closest friends are also hers, none of us wants me to include them. I recommended we attend to marriage therapy, something she strongly opposes. She's concerned the therapist will instantly side with me and make her feel awful about herself person. And I believe she is finally warming up to it a little. Also, since the case is so convoluted, I must have missed some nuances. Thank you for listening to the story to the end, and if you like it, please support us with a like as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think about the story.